Good morning. I'm Dr. Faye. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking about supervision, consultation. How are they different? How are they the same? And mostly why it's important to continue supervision and or consultation even after you graduate, maybe especially after you graduate. So first, let's talk a little bit about how supervision and consultation are similar or different. Supervision and consultation are both a clinician seeking out some assistance for support. That can be in building skills, knowledge. It can be putting knowledge and skills into action and fine-tuning, say, a technique. It can also be learning a specific technique. It can be focused on overall improvement, or it can just be accountability, having someone to check in with, someone to help support you. Generally with supervision, it's going to be a little bit more structured. In supervision, we often think about supervision for people who are still in school or just out of school. And usually they are building skills, knowledge, awareness in multiple areas, kind of overall building up their practice. For consultation, we usually think about that as either being about a specific issue or a specific skill set, or maybe there's a particular person or style that you really want to learn from, in which case you might just consult with them. There's also just like ongoing peer consultation to help make sure that you're making good choices and to have someone to bounce ideas off when you get stuck, which is also awesome. So why is it important to be in supervision and or consultation? The number one reason, which I just kind of touched on, is that you're not alone, right? We do a lot of our work by ourselves in a room with the door shut, just talking to our folks. That is a little bit dangerous if we stay in that place. For new clinicians, they might be terrified of that, right? Especially if you're in the American system, you are regularly told about how you're going to have your license taken away and your career is going to be over and you're definitely going to go to jail if you ever mess up. Okay. Well, that's like probably not true. Probably. But it is a very scary time when you're setting out on your own and you no longer have to report to 3 to 5 people telling them what you did. And it can be hard to start making decisions on your own. You might really not feel like that imposter syndrome is pretty strong in those first years. You might not feel able to make those decisions on your own. So supervision can help you ease into your practice, your independent practice, even if you're at an agency, right? It can help you make those decisions. It can help get someone on your team so that you can continue growing until you're a little bit more confident in your skills. Now, I would argue, even if you are super confident in your skills and decision-making ability, that no clinician should ever be alone. This is where consultation comes in. I believe all clinicians, therapists, psychologists, even psychiatrists, social workers, all of us should always be in consultation. It is always good to be forced to choose, to disclose what you're doing with your clients, to disclose in places where you're being stuck, to ask for help, to get new ideas and fresh feedback. The danger, if we don't do that, is we can go one of two ways. We can either get burnt out, where we start to not care as much about our clients. Maybe we are daydreaming during sessions or writing down our grocery list instead of taking notes. We're just like really not engaging with our clients, which is actually can be really harmful for them because it's supposed to be the one place where, they can really connect with someone. But also we might just be exhausted by our clients' issues, right? Like burnout also goes to the other emotional extreme. We're too involved with our clients. We want to fix things. We want to get in there and just help them do the thing, get over the thing, we can really get enmeshed with our clients because our success becomes dependent on their success, which is also a super dangerous place to be and will make us just emotionally exhausted. That burnout place is just not sustainable. You can go back and forth between those emotional extremes and emotional withdrawal, but eventually you're going to have to stop practicing. And if you don't, like, you will be causing people harm. The other danger of going at this job alone, if you don't burn out, is that you just get a really big ego. If you don't have somebody to keep you in check, the human brain naturally wants to defend against attacks. So when your client succeeds, you're going to feel like, yes, I did that. I'm so good at my job. When your client fails, you're going to either, if you think I did that, this is totally my fault, that's going to lead to burnout. But if you don't do that, if you just say like, oh, that was their problem, I'm fine. Ooh, that means you have just stopped growing. Like you have stopped being reflective and looking at how you impacted that situation. Because even if that situation was inevitable, you still played a part in it. And it's important for us to stay on top of that. So when we're in consultation, hopefully we've been bringing our difficult cases and even some of our easy cases in for other people to take a look at. And if our consultation partner or group is a good one, they might call us out for some stuff that it's in our blind spots, which is good for us. We got to stay humble. We're just helpers here. We're not saviors. It's important to remember that, right? Okay, so that's number one, not being alone, never be alone, right? Like that's ideal. We don't want to do this alone. We need community. We all need community, right? Okay, coffee. All right, so when we have that community, it's awesome because it leads to the second thing that is the best part about being in supervision or consultation: safety. Yes, therapists need to be safe too. How can we help create that safe environment if we're not safe? We need to be able to feel comfortable and confident in our skill set, but also like confident that we are doing like an actual good job, not that we've just told ourselves we're doing a good job so that we can survive, right? Safety is also awesome because it allows us to push ourselves into new growth zones. If we're always on the edge of like, oh, I don't know, I guess I'm doing this right, or like, oh yeah, I'm good where I'm at, or actually I'm pretty terrified, we're not moving anywhere. We're going to stick right in that wherever we are. When we feel safe, it gives us some headspace to explore new techniques, theories that we're interested in but didn't have time to learn about in school. It helps us, get actually really engaged with those textbooks that we used to like, oh my God, why do I have to read this? My partner makes fun of me because I read Freud in bed. Did I understand Freud when I was being taught theory in my master's program when I was 21 years old? No. 10 years later, am I able to digest it a lot better because of my clinical experience and other readings and just life experience? Totally. And it's absolutely leveling up my practice. I couldn't do that if I was just barely hanging on or exhausted at the end of the day. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dense reading, but it's cool. So when we're safe, we also have that safety net, right? When we're in supervision or consultation, we can be like, hey, I tried this thing and it didn't work, right? And so people can troubleshoot those things with us, and we can try that skill again. Like we have that person saying like, oh, dang, yeah, sometimes that happens. Or like, it's okay, you know, this person is fine, you're fine, try again. And so we do. Sometimes, you know, we take ourselves a little bit too seriously and we need someone to be like, nah, it's good, keep going, right? So not being alone, safety. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Being in supervision or consultation helps us find our blind spots. We are also human. Surprise, therapists aren't perfect. We have blind spots. We have assumptions. We have stuff. You know, I also think therapists should be in therapy, but you know, hey, what do I know? Therapy is one place where you can start to explore and you know, heal some of your stuff, but also we always need people around us to help us identify our blind spots, or to say, hey, I'm not sure you're taking this into account. Something that I often talk about with my supervisees is just, you know, the ultra complexities of intersectionality. And you know, I often find myself asking questions about like, oh, what was their background growing up? What was their, what's their relationship to money? Have you talked to them about how their identity as, you know, a person of color intersects with their queer identity, and what that brings up for them and how that's related to this situation? Or maybe you just aren't aware of some of those things. Maybe it didn't like pop up on your radar. Maybe it's a place where you need to do some more, you know, knowledge work, awareness work. But maybe also you have your own biases about what it means to be X, Y, or Z, and you're bringing that into the room. Being in a place with people you trust, like supervision and consultation, helps you address those things and to see those things, because without it, you can hurt people in small ways or big ways. It might just result in kind of spontaneous termination, but it might also just make it really hard for that person to go back to therapy because therapy wasn't a very helpful place to them. We don't want to do that, right? Okay. So I think that also something that doesn't get talked about enough in supervision and consultation, I'll make this my last point for today, is professional development, right? We as therapists sometimes can feel like, well, we're just here to serve. You know, we come in and we listen to people, and that is a job well done. Okay, I mean, I guess if that's what you're into. I don't know that that's really going to always be fulfilling for you as you develop, right? I have always spoken to my supervisees about this work-life balance. You guys have heard of that, right? But we don't talk about it in school. In school, all your supervisors, well, probably most of my supervisors were focused on me just getting my clinical skills up, me feeling okay in the therapy room. What happens after you feel okay in the therapy room, right? What are you doing? What are you doing with that? What are you doing outside of that? You know, how are you expanding, you know, your other life outside of therapy, right? And how are you making sure that those two parts of you, the personal and the professional, although they're linked, how do they stay separate so that you're not just walking around as your therapist self all the time? Ugh, that's exhausting. And not just the personal side, not just that, you know, personal, professional, but also how do you make the most out of your job, right? How do you get what you need out of your job? Maybe for some people, how do you move into private practice? And what's your next career move? Is where you're at, like where you want to be? Do you want to do something different? Do you want to scale up? Do you want to do something at the more macro level? Do you want to contribute your skills in a more macro way? How do you get into politics? How do you start advocating and consulting with your local government to make bigger change? lots of people can help you do that. Supervisors, your consultants, they can help keep you accountable. They can help you push to that next level. Also in, professional development, there might be some stuff that's just totally not on your radar. Maybe, you should be marketing yourself a little bit better, a little bit different. Therapists sometimes can really hate to do this, but some of those podcasts are right. Some of them are like, but some of them say that therapists, that's all we do is make relationships and talk to people. And yeah, that's true. Marketing actually isn't that bad if you approach it the same way you would working in a big organization or a big hospital. You have to get to know people so that they trust you and that they'll talk to you. And then once they talk to you, it's fine. You're gonna get all the referrals you need. It's gonna be great. You're gonna be great. There's also a lot of us do just enough professional development to get our licensure needs met every year. And we might do the easiest, quickest thing we can find. Okay, all right. Our supervisors and consulting groups can also help us find professional development that actually helps us grow. Maybe we actually might be excited to present at a conference. I wish more people in clinical work would present at conferences. So much of that academic research, I want to say who cares? I know, it's important. I did it too. But, clinicians also should be contributing to the field and growth. And if you don't have other people pushing you to do that, because they're like, wow, you did this great thing, like write up this case study, you're probably not going to do that. So here we go. Back to the list. Why is supervision and consultation important? It helps us to not be alone. It helps us with decisions. It helps us to grow, to gain skills, to gain confidence. All of that creates a sense of safety. When we're safe, we're able to push our growth edges, to learn new things, to expand our practice, and to level up our practice, right? It helps us identify blind spots. None of us can do this work alone. It's hard. We're human and we're fallible. We need people who understand what our work is to help point out when we're not doing the best job and when our staff might be coming into the room more than we thought. And we need supervision and consultation for professional development. I gotta go this way for 4. We need people in our field to push us, to tell us we're worthy, to tell us like, yeah, go do this big thing, go do this next level. If you're okay in your practice and you feel super satisfied right there, okay, great, fine. But if you want to do something a little bit extra, if you want to grow and find new parts of the field that are just as fascinating and exciting and can help keep that fire burning for you, talk to some more therapists and talk to some therapists who have found that for themselves, right? That's why it's important. Already, I think this is a long enough video, long enough post. Maybe I'll talk some other time about like, how do you find a good supervisor? I think that's a whole other can of worms. But that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So I hope this was helpful. If you're looking for a supervisor or a peer consultant, and you like what I said today and you think you'd like to chat with me sometime, hit me up. You can fill out the form on my website. You can send me an email. I am drfayfrederick@gmail.com. And let's see what we can do. We'll figure it out. I would love to be helpful to you. I would love to see your practice grow. I like to say that, I love clinical work. I've met with hundreds of people. I'll meet with hundreds more over the span of my life. But when I can help another clinician get really comfortable in their practice and be ethical and great clinicians, I'm actually impacting thousands of more people. You know, in my very humble way, my impact on the world actually becomes exponential. So I think that's why it's important for all of us to invest in good supervision, giving good supervision, getting good supervision, because it helps all of us do better work, right? Okay, y'all. Well, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Let me know if you have any questions. If there's anything you want to hear about, I'll do a video about it whenever I have a good hair day. Until next time, I'm Dr. Faye. Thanks for joining me today. Take care.